In the northeastern corner of India, just bordering Myanmar, there's a family who works all day long in the sun, molding bricks from the wet clay found in the ground just outside their hut. The father spends time collecting and molding the clay, and the women spend time stacking the fired bricks. They work all day long, all month long, for $24, most of which goes towards paying for their home that's built from the very clay they farm and held together by the bamboo and scrap metal they found in the waste. This family didn't know Jesus. The vision of legacy extends beyond these four walls. Locally, nationally, and globally, legacy isn't about making a building crowded. It's about making heaven crowded. Journey Church is stretching its reach around the world, but it begins in our local community.
Not only do we serve lunch and dinner, we also provide blankets, we provide hygiene, anything that our friends may need on an everyday that we have easy that comes to us.
Right now we're in memory lane, so these are the elders that have dementia and Alzheimer's. Some of them just want someone to talk with and someone to be with. And so we're here to give them love and show them the love of Christ.
These friends, I think they impact my life more than I impact their lives. Everybody's so welcoming, everybody's sweet, and it really is a life changer.
Journey Church started publishing Sunday services on the Pando app in June of 2024, making Jesus accessible to the members of the correctional facilities in the United States. In only 5 months, we've seen 1,074 inmates give their lives to Christ. But this impact doesn't just stretch across the nation. It's also making Jesus accessible to members of this church.
My husband and I have been together for 6.5 years, and my husband is currently incarcerated. He always calls me at around 5 or 5:30 p.m. on Sunday evenings. My first question is, did you get to watch the service yet? Over this past 5 months, we have grown more spiritually than we have in years.
Before we had access to something like Pando, we were very much alone in the world. It wasn't just a way to connect with Journey, it was a way to connect with my wife. It's not just another thing, it's not just another app. It is a massive way that I can connect and support my wife as he serves and connect in participating in the same church community. So it's a pretty big deal.
Making an impact in the world doesn't happen without making an impact in the next generation. Journey Kids exists to make Jesus accessible to any child. And through the generosity of legacy, we've been able to open a sensory room for children with special needs.
We have plenty of families who have come, who've told us, I brought my kid to a church and I left my kid with the church, and then afterwards they told us that we can't do that anymore just because there are challenging behaviors. They don't have anyone who knows what's going on. A lot of times what parents have told me is that if they don't make space for my kid, then how can they make space for me? Of course, their kid is their number one, it's their person. And so when you say no to a kid, you're often saying no to the parents, to the family. I know of one parent who has driven here from Kissimmee because we're the only church that takes her kid. And to drive that far with a student who has special needs is a big deal. And we want to try and make sure that we honor that and that we make as much space as we can for as many kids as we can. Parents knowing that we see the kid and we see that they can be a really great big light and happy and great, and just knowing that we see the full picture, and we love the full picture that is showing them the love of Jesus.
Next Gen doesn't stop locally. In the city of Ura, children spend their time in the streets, growing up without an education. Their village, held captive by the fear instilled by the false idols they worship, doesn't have access to Jesus. Our goal is to change both of those issues. Journey Church, through Legacy, sponsored the building of a school in Ura that's changing the trajectory of this village.
I joined this ministry in 2023. I got to know this ministry through one of my auntie. We get to hear so many testimonies about God from the kids. I got to, experience His presence in every day of my life, even as I teach the kids. They are learning how to speak in English. I can see the growth. Some of them are there who cannot pray, but they know how to pray now. We usually have this prayer session and they would pray for all of you. And they would be so excited to pray for you, How can people have such willingness of heart, willing to give away and help people, even though they are far from us, however, they are willing to serve His people, and I'm so blessed to hear that.
Meena lives in this small village of India. She had never heard of Jesus. All she knew was the work of crafting bricks, all day, every day. But something drew her in when a small mission from Journey arrived. As they walked through the muddy clay, they prayed for the village. Although they didn't speak the same language, the love of Jesus moved her heart. She met Jesus that day. And so did her friends, who she prayed for in turn. The name of Jesus is growing like a wildfire because of the spark that's starting in Orlando. This is more than a building. This is a manifestation of God's outpouring to the world. It's not about a location, it's about a commission, a foundation built different for the gospel to reach the ends of the earth. God has more, so much more than we can imagine. This is just the start. There's more salvations, more baptisms, more small groups, more next steps, and more missions. The Spirit of God is on the move. Orlando, the nation, and into the world. This building is more than these walls. It's a foundation for Jesus to change the world.